All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show on a beautiful sunny day before Thanksgiving, clear and crisp atop the parking structure across from Levi's Stadium as we get ready for a big 49er Wednesday as the Niners get ready to get on the bird and go to Cleveland at the end of the week, where it will be wintry conditions, icy rain, snow potentially in the forecast, temperatures in the 30s, wind, definite precipitation, definite wintry mix, as they like to call it. A wintry mix coming up in Cleveland, and the Niners are going to be challenged beyond belief by the Cleveland Browns, and we're going to talk a lot about that. But let's get into it. First, of course, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, 2 locations, Emeryville, Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week, guys. Go get your barbecue from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m., 7 days a week. Emeryville, Corte Madera. Now, the 3rd location is opening in Petaluma. Way to go, Damon and Mary, opening that 3rd location in Petaluma. We're fired up. We're going to be at Pig and a Pickle for the Krug Show meet and greet. We want to see all of you there. December 7th, during the bye week. I can't get out much, but during the bye week is a great time. So we're going to do bye week football, watching ball at Pig and a Pickle. Stop by on December 7th. I'll be there all day, eating barbecue, hanging out, talking ball, and hopefully meeting a lot of you guys. So if you can, stop by. We got a Ricky Pearsall mini helmet that we're giving away courtesy of our friends at Sharp Corners Sports Cards and Collectibles. Thank you, Anthony Catania. And we'll be there all day, December 7th, in Corte Madera. Stop by for the Krug Show meet and greet. All right, let's get into the 49er day today. A couple interesting things. First of all, on the wide receiver front, Brandon Cooks was out there, and I was like, hey, the Niners ought to go for Brandon Cooks. He's a veteran. He can give them a downfield threat. They are a pretty slow wide receiver core. They got 2 guys who can run, Cowing and Watkins. They don't use either of them. And they have no downfield threat. It would be really nice if they did. I think it would create more room for everybody underneath and allow all of the Niner receivers to operate without taking as many hits. But Cooks signed with the Buffalo Bills. But then the Bills turned around and released the veteran Elijah Moore. And you know what? Elijah Moore, I think, might even be a better option for the Niners than Cooks at this point. Elijah Moore is younger. He ran in the 4.3s at Ole Miss. He's a good receiver. I mean, he is definitely a good receiver. I would definitely bring in a guy like Elijah Moore. You're so slow at receiver. You got to have some speed. You got to have something, some juice. I mean, they got to put Sky Moore on the field right now if they want any kind of vertical threat. Even if you had a guy like Elijah Moore on the field and he ran go patterns and you didn't throw him the ball, he'd be more valuable than what you got right now with so many slowish receivers. Do you need Kendrick Bourne and Demarcus Robinson? Probably not. To me, those are hugely redundant parts. Pick one. You got Robinson, maybe he's younger, maybe he's a little better, go with him. If you don't believe in Robinson, then cut Robinson free and go with Bourne. But 2 slowish receivers and nobody who can run, and you got Watkins and Cowing on the sideline, they're not giving you anything. If the Niners are going to be a run-the-ball team, they got to create some space. And if they're going to be a run-the-ball team and short passing, got to have somebody run off the top of the coverage. And if it can't be Watkins, it's not going to be Cowing, and you don't believe in Sky Moore enough, a guy like Elijah Moore would make a lot of sense. Good receiver, young, speedy, has good ball skills. I think that could be a really good pickup. He's out there now. Bills cut him loose. Jeremy Fowler had an interesting report today on Brandon Aiyuk. And this was the quote. He said, a few teams I spoke to believe Brandon Aiyuk is slightly more tradable with the voided guarantees, though with the option money still technically on the books, reworking his deal altogether would be the preferred method. Fowler goes on to say, a few people I've checked with believe an issue was Aiyuk's failure to show up for rehab appointments during the offseason. Either he didn't trust the Niners trainers or didn't want to show up. Either way, an unwillingness to properly rehab a significant injury as the team sees fit is typically easy grounds for a guarantee void. And yet we don't see a lot of this, right? We don't see. Shanahan said he's never had this experience in his entire career, and he's been coaching in the NFL for 20 years. So you don't see a lot of voidable contracts, and yet Fowler makes it seem like, you know what? He just didn't want to, train with the Niners trainers, and so that was it, and so they just voided it. Well, so if there's no other player on any other team that wants to train with some other trainer outside of, I find that hard to believe. So let's get into this for just a second. A couple things here. One, on the tradability of Aiyuk. That's an interesting thing. There's a lot of teams that love these receivers, and when I say, receivers, I'm talking about veteran receivers that have proven that they can be 1,000-yard receivers. So 1,000-yard receivers don't grow on trees. And, a guy like Aiyuk, I think in the minds of most NFL people, could be an 1,000-yard type receiver. And so I think a lot of teams view him as such. So there's limits to how many guys that are out there. So there may be a market for him. And now with his guaranteed money off the books, maybe the Niners can get something for him. I think that's kind of an interesting angle that I hadn't really thought about. But you may see come to fruition is they may wind up, instead of releasing him at the end of the year, just coming to some kind of, hey, who wants him? Now, as Fowler points out, there's still some option money on the books, but it sounds like it's probably makes him like at least a tradable asset, as opposed to, there's no way anybody would trade for him with that bloated contract. Now, at least the trade is an option. And I think that's kind of interesting. And there may be teams like Pittsburgh or Washington, or Cleveland, or a number of teams that could have some interest in Aiyuk. That will be something worth watching at the end of the year. But as far as reworking his deal, maybe some team will be able to rework his contract, and they'll look at him as a bargain in a day 3 pick trade situation. That's still to come. But the training part is interesting, because I'm sure there have been times when Nick Bosa's trained in Florida, or somebody's trained somewhere else and outside of Santa Clara. But I think it's all about the communication. It's all about, is there open dialogue? Hey, I'm going to train over here. Okay, that's good with us. Or, hey, I'm going to train over here. Hey, you know what? That's not sufficient for us. We want you to train at least here or here with this person or that person. It's a dialogue. You've got a player under contract, and there's communication there. And I think if the communication breaks down and there's no dialogue, it's easy to be like, well, I'm going to train where I want to train, and now you're breaking the terms of your contract. Either way, this isn't junior life. This is real life. And, Brandon Aiyuk is not a 12-year-old. He's an adult. And in an adult world, you're responsible for knowing the terms of your contract. That's the bottom line. I'm responsible for knowing the terms of the contracts that I enter into. You're responsible for knowing the terms of the contracts that you enter into. And Brandon is responsible for those contract terms as well. So that's probably why he's not going to challenge it, because he understands that he is in the wrong here. And that makes the most sense, that's why he's not going to challenge it. But it is kind of a gray area, and I'm sure there'll be people that will argue on Twitter and everywhere else. Well, you know what? It's okay for Bosa to train with his guy, but you can't train with his guy. I don't think it's about that. I think it's more about the communicating. Who are you training with? What's your program? The team has a right to know know what you're doing there as well. And if there's no communication, and then you just go and do whatever you want, and the team, obviously, if this was a bone of contention and something that Brandon was like, no, that's their story. My story is I was doing, then he wouldn't be giving back the money, and he wouldn't be agreeing to not fight it through the NFLPA. He'd be like, hey, man, I want my guaranteed money, and I trained over here, but, I told him, and, I didn't violate my contract, and he's not saying any of that. So I think it's safe to say that he understands that why those years are being voided. But it is interesting that they still could trade him. Kyle Juszczyk nominated for the 2025 Art Rooney Sportsmanship Award. That's very cool. Congratulations to Juszczyk. Trayvon Moreg, the dirty safety for the Panthers who punched JJ in the nuts, got suspended without pay for 1 game for punching him in the balls, according to the rap sheet. Dude, I don't know. I mean, I played sports. I've competed hard. I've won. I've lost. I've had people showboat against me. At no point in my competitive life have I ever thought, you know what? I want to ball up my fists and punch somebody in their private parts so that they're like gasping for air and in tons of pain. And it's like, who does that? I mean, that is just there's no play. The NFL's already a tough game, and it's a rough game, and it's played by tough, rough guys. You don't need to be dirty, and that was dirty. So I hope, these guys make hundreds of thousands of dollars per game. Dude, was that worth hundreds of thousands of dollars? I hope so, That was unbelievably stupid move by Moreg. Now, the NFL is going to review Jennings' actions as well for a possible fine. He won't be suspended. I mean, to take money away from a guy who reacted in anger for getting punched in the balls during a football game or a handshake after a football game is what? Excuse me? I mean, that's ridiculous. And if you're Jed York, you should walk right into that locker room, walk right up to Juwan Jennings and say, hey, if they fine you, I'm paying that fine. We'll see if Jed does that. By the way, Kevin Harlan and Trent Green will be on the call for CBS for Niners-Browns. Always good to see Harlan. CMC, how about this? How incredibly used is CMC this year? He leads the NFL in rushing attempts with 271. That's pretty incredible. But he also leads the NFL in receptions with 81. He has the most rushing attempts and the most receptions. Nobody has more. Give this man a raise. I mean, that is unbelievable. The most rushing attempts and the most receptions? Should they call themselves the 49ers or should they call themselves the Christian McCaffreys? Here come the Christian McCaffreys. This Sunday, it's the McCaffreys against the Browns. Hey, Kyle, hand somebody else the ball. Throw somebody else the ball. If this were the 6th grade, they'd call him a ball hog. That's amazing, though. That is amazing. That is some serious usage. I mean, I've never heard of that. We're almost in December. He leads the league in rushing attempts and receptions. Nobody has been used more than Christian McCaffrey, who is like 40% of the 49ers offense. Unbelievable year. If this guy doesn't get some kind of an award for this year, I mean, something's wrong. I mean, the 49ers are 8-4. They're banged up. They're pretty bad on defense, and, or at least have struggled on defense with injuries. No Warner, no Bosa. Mac Jones started 8 games. I mean, you have had Pearsall has been out. Kittle's been out. No Aiyuk. Everybody's hurt. Christian McCaffrey to the rescue. He has saved the freaking season, leading the league in receptions and carries. It's unbelievable as we get to December. It's one thing if it was like middle of September or early October. It's almost December. All right, we should tell you that 49er practice reports this season are brought to you by our friends at Plank. That's right, the 50,000 square foot entertainment eatery at Jack London Square in Oakland. Plank just opened the Hub, a brand new sports viewing space. It's got a massive 30-foot media wall, over 70 TVs. It's the ultimate spot to watch every game. I've been there. It's a really cool spot. Enjoy the food. It's good food. Specialty cocktails. They've got a huge 15,000 square foot outdoor beer garden. Guys, there's like 35 different beers on tap. It's a really cool spot. Bring the kids. You can bowl. They've got 12 bowling lanes. Kevin and I bowled a couple games. There's bocce. There's arcade games. Right now, if you're a Krug Show listener, they get 15% off bowling, games, food, and non-alcoholic drinks through the end of the month. Just mention that you sent me, that I sent you, and that you sent me. You didn't send me. I'm sending you. Anyway, say that just mention my name. Say my name. And they'll give you the discount. Also, it's a perfect place to host your holiday party this year, whether it's for friends, family, or your team at work. Check them out, plankoakland.com. That's plankoakland.com. And thanks to Plank and all the good people there. I love Plank. Really, really cool spot. Great spot to have a few beers and bowl with your buddies. There's very few places to go bowling. But that's one of them. It's a really cool spot in Jack London Square. You guys should check it out. Okay, let's talk playoffs for a second. If the season ended today, the Niners are the 7th seed and would go to Philly to take on the Eagles. And here's my thing. I know the Niners have flaws. I know the Niners defense isn't what it was. But I feel like I know football, and I feel like the 49ers could beat Philly in Philly. I'm looking at this road. Green Bay would be in Chicago. Seattle would be at Tampa Bay. So, I mean, the Niners road, let's just say they beat Philly. If they beat Philly, they'd get the Rams. And then they would probably get, most likely, a Seattle-Green Bay winner. Are you telling me that the Niners couldn't beat Philly in Philly? I think they can. I think they can. Are you telling me the Niners can't beat the Rams in L.A.? They've already done it this year with their backup quarterback. They can do it again. You tell me the Niners can't beat Seattle in Seattle? They've already done it. They've already done it. You tell me the Niners can't win in Green Bay? They've won in Green Bay many times. So, I don't know. I get mixed feelings. I mean, yes, on one hand, some awesome football players are out for the year, and I've got great respect for how great those guys are. But this is doable. I mean, I think it's doable. I really do. I think it's doable. I don't think this is an impossibility. All right, let's talk about Brock Purdy for a second. What are the Niners going to do with Brock Purdy if he keeps playing like crap? Chase Sr. had these stats. In his last 19 starts, Brock Purdy, 28 touchdowns, 19 interceptions. 19 picks in his last 19 starts. That's too many picks. It's too many picks. Simple as that. Purdy in his first 21 starts, 44 touchdowns, 15 picks. That's a much better ratio. He's got to turn the ball over less. They got him. I hate to say this because, Kyle Shanahan managed Jimmy Garoppolo, and Jimmy Garoppolo is way crappier than Brock Purdy is right now, playing with his turf toe. So just manage Brock. The way he played in the second half where they kept it ball out of harm's way, a lot of stuff to the flat, move the pocket, do all that. Less floating ducks in the middle of the field late with nothing on them. Like it's a 3 flies up drill at a family picnic. Like watching those throws remind me of my dad at the family picnic. We 3 flies up with my brother and a couple friends. We'd be like, throw it up there. We'd be like, hey, I got that one. All right. Way to go, Dad. 3 flies up. Oh, you're battling your buddies. That's the Brock Purdy passes to JJ. Those were like 3 fly up floaters. No more of that. No more of that. No more of those late floaters in the middle of the field for anybody to catch. No more of that. If he can avoid that, I believe in Brock Purdy to run the offense, move around, make the right plays, make the right decisions. Kyle's got to manage Purdy now. He's got to keep him out of these intermediate to deep, hot air balloon passes. Hanging up. Come down. 2 games ago, McCaffrey waiting. We're all waiting. When's he going to get there? Come on. Can't have that. If he keeps throwing passes like that, it's Mac Jones time. As simple as that. I love Brock Purdy. He keeps another game like that, and it's Mac Jones time. And he may have a game like that because this rush, Cleveland had 20 hits on the quarterback in the last game. 20 hits on the quarterback. 20. It's going to be a rough Sunday for Brock Purdy. Run the ball, get the ball out quick. He's got to avoid 3 turnovers. These people are like, oh, yeah, he was fine except for the 3 turnovers. What? Excuse me? What? No. You were great except for the fact that you died. It was awesome except for the huge inferno that you started. It was a great drive. Unfortunately, the car's totaled. All right, Jair Brown named NFC Defensive Player of the Week. Unbelievable way to go, Jair Brown. Frank Gore, officially one of 26 modern-era semifinalists for the NFL Hall of Fame class of 2026. Way to go, Frank. I got to see Roger Craig in there. By the way, defense determines everything. Look at this division. The Rams are the first place team. They got the number one defense as far as in the division. They give up 16 points a game. Seattle's the second best team in the division. They're 8-3. They've got the second best defense. They give up 19.7 a game. The Niners are the third best team. They give up the third most points, 21.7 a game. The Cardinals are the worst team, and they give up the most points on defense, 25.7 points per game. Seattle actually has the number one offensive points per game, and they're the second best team to the Rams. But the Rams with the number one defense, 16 points a game. Seattle's got a really good defense. Rams are defense allows 3 less points, over almost 4 less points per game. Rams defense is quite a bit better than Seattle's defense if you just look at strictly at the numbers. Okay, let's take a look at the Browns for one thing. This is kind of an amazing stat. So the Browns, if you say, man, the Browns, oh man, they got a defense, their defense, oh my God, the Browns defense. And they are second in total defense, okay? They're second against the pass in the league, second best pass defense in football, 12th best run defense in football. They're second in sacks. They have 42 sacks. Myles Garrett's just leading the way. They're 9th in picks, and they're 13th in turnover differential at +2. So you're like, oh man, what a killer defense. Here's a trivia question for you. Which defense allows fewer points per game? The Niners or the Browns? If you said the Browns, you're wrong. It's the 49ers. How about that? The 49ers, now the 49ers defense is 22nd in total defense as far as yards per game. The Niners are 11th in points allowed per game. The Niners defense gives up 21.8 a game, which is .04 better than the Browns defense, which is 13th, giving up 22.2 a game. The Niners. If you say to defensive coordinators, if I go ask Robert Saleh today, would you rather be number one in yards or points? He's going to say points. He's going to say points. Because points get you beat or points win games. And in points, the Niners defense is better than the Browns defense. Think about that for a second. That's why Robert Saleh is probably going to get a head coaching job in the offseason. What he's doing is freaking a miracle. The 49ers, in a 26th rated pass defense, they're 32nd in sacks. They're 25th in picks. They're 26th in turnover differential at -6. That's unbelievable. They're 10th against the run. They're better against the run than they've been. But the 49ers defense gives up fewer points per game than the Browns defense. Use that one around the water cooler this week, and you'll be winning money. You can win bets every day. Next, you hear some guy talk, well, I'll tell you, this Browns defense, just go, hey man, the Niner defense is even better. Oh, what? I'll bet you the Niners defense gives up fewer points than the Browns defense. I'll take that bet. Oh, come on. Guy's reaching for his wallet. Here's 40. Yeah, let's make it 100. Let's make it 200. Cha-ching. Send a little bit to your boy. Thanks for watching The Krug Show on YouTube.